Hey everybody, welcome to Geekism. I'm Tej,
I'm Corey.
and we are back. No episode last week because there's a lot of stuff going on, and we wanted to actually try it.
And, we might as well just waited and held off for Comic Con.
Yeah, which I like is so stupid. Like I didn't even think about it when we were like, "Well, we want to try like this beta and this other stuff," and that's Friday. I was like, and then Comic Con was happening. I was like, "Oh yeah," and this whole thing's going on.
Yeah, this giant thing that's a huge deal that happens every year.
But yeah, so we're back this week talking about some stuff. So we'll go over kind of like the footnotes of Comic Cons because there's a lot of stuff like minutia of it. Like I guess they talked more about the new Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo Batman series, but I haven't read up on it, so like enough to talk about it. I feel like so.
All I know is it looks sweet as shit.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
It's just like Batman with armor and
like all different crazy suits. It looks like.
well, like they're supposedly like mixtures of the Justice League. So the one
I just know the red one
with a little
is like
twist.
the Flash. Batman.
Yeah, so there's like the Flash one, which I think is called the Red Death. There's
Awesome.
one where he's combined with the Cyborg, and that one is called the Murder Machine.
Jesus Christ! I need to read up on this because it sounds awesome.
The one that you would think is the Superman related one is not. Like the Superman related one is actually the Doomsday looking one.
That's what I thought because I was like, because I saw the one that's like red and bluish, and I was like, oh, that must be Superman. And then, but then I couldn't piece out. I was like, who's the massive one? So I guess that's the way it is.
Yeah, the giant one is like a amalgamation of Batman and Doomsday, and then the other one I wish I would have pulled these up. Here they go. Then there is the one where it's like part Batman, part Aquaman / like Mera. The Wonder Woman one is like the one that looks kind of like a knight with like the wings on its head. But it also looks very like Ares-esque.
Yeah, they look rad.
Yeah, the other one's like part Batman, part Green Lantern. There's supposedly two more, and they haven't.
Oh, that
shown
weren't
them.
in that picture.
Yeah, because there's another one that's like the Batman who laughs, and obviously that's like a part Joker one. And then there was one other one that I can't remember exactly who it was, because there's like another villain that it's like a kind of like
based off of
thrown together thing. Yeah, where did it go? I just saw it. I had this shit a minute ago, and then it disappeared. The fact that one of them is called the Murder Machine is hilarious. Oh, the Merciless is the Wonder Woman. The Drowned is the Aquaman Mera one. And then there's the Dawnbreaker, which is the Green Lantern. The Doomsday one is called Devastator. And then the ones that haven't been shown are the Batman Who Laughs. And I think there's... goddamn, there was one other one. I can't remember what it was.
Well, that's not that important. We'll figure it out.
That's gonna come up and it's gonna look sweet.
What when's it come out?
I think it's supposed to start sometime next year.
Oh, next year? I thought it was this
no,
year.
sorry, it's August.
Oh, okay. Then again,
that just seems so far away.
It's weird, right? Because we're at the time of the year that we're at right now. Like, my brain is still like, oh no, it's only, February or whatever, when it's so not.
Yeah, plus, I don't know. It just seems like that's so far away, but it's not really. And I haven't read any of the stuff leading up to it, which I probably will now.
Yeah, no, I just remember seeing on Twitter that there was like a couple like sort of prequel style issue things or something like that. So I'll probably end up having to check those out.
Yeah, I think there's like the casting and I think the iron or something like that. Like
the
they're
Forge
all kind of
or something maybe is one.
Forge, that's what it is. But those all look pretty sweet.
Yeah, they look rad. That's for sure. But
That was the only like comic book related thing that really caught my eye. And then the fact that they showed more stuff for Infinity War, like more of the movie stuff, is what I saw it jump out from Comic-Con.
Yeah, I feel like that's sort of like the stuff that gains like the most traction. I feel like
Well, yeah, I think it's like just because it has that broader audience than like books and things like that. But still, like, I don't know, the potato quality footage I saw of Infinity War looked pretty sweet.
I didn't watch it because I was like, I don't want to. I want to take it in.
Yeah, well, in the trailer, it showed like Thor like on a ship with like the Guardians, and they were kind of just like, "Who are you?" sort of thing, and then like there's some explanation of like what's going on, and then you eventually see like, I think like Iron Man was in like with them in space, and then there's like the biggest thing I remember seeing aside from like all of the characters that have been building up for like the last decade on the screen together, was like a shot of like Thanos putting the glove on and then basically like hurling a bunch of planet-sized things at people.
Yeah, I mean, I remember reading like a write-up sort of after, was it D23 where they first showed it?
Mm-hmm.
And people were like, "Oh, I can't. Not. It's kind of hard to tell, but it seems almost like Thanos destroyed the moon." And I was like, "Well, it seems a bit excessive."
Yeah, whatever they do, it's going to be out of control for this. And they showed off the Black Order, which I kind of, I figure they're going to do their own kind of Infinity War style thing, like storyline. Plus, those characters are newer and they look cool.
Yeah, well, that was the thing because for me, I remember for the longest time they were talking about how something was supposed to be like over the span of 2 movies, and I was like, well, if it's just Thanos, like realistically, I mean, I know he's super strong, but how do you fight just one guy for 2 whole movies? Because I didn't know. Maybe people knew beforehand. I didn't know that like before they kind of revealed it. I didn't know like all these other bad guys were coming too.
Those were from like a recent storyline, I want to say within the last like 2 years or so during that whole like Infinity thing that they did.
Yeah.
And I want to say at the end of that, like the Infinity Gauntlet ended up being destroyed or something crazy like that.
Huh.
Maybe not though. It's been a while. I haven't read that in forever. But
yeah.
The only thing that looks kind of weird is the fact that he doesn't have the helmet on in this. Every time we've seen him previously, he's had the helmet. And this,
exactly.
No helmet. Well, so he's just like this big purple-headed, like Grimace-looking motherfucker. It's buff Grimace.
Well, the thing for me was I was like, man, like I don't even mind like the costume change, maybe he'll put like the armor on or whatever again. But what I didn't like was because there's no helmet, he's bald, right? And he just looked weird. Like the poster that they put out, that it's like the 3 posters in one, looks cool, but at the same time, I couldn't help. I was like, why does he look like such a doofus? Like his facial expression is so weird.
Yeah, because I mean, looking at that poster, you've got him real small. You got the Black Order below him, and then you've got like Cap off to the side, looking like, as you said, like Snake from Metal Gear,
looking like Big Boss out here. And I was like, hell yeah,
yeah, buddy. I mean, Falcon's there, the Guardians are there, Loki is there, Vision and Scarlet Witch are there. I mean, Nebula is there. There's a lot of people on this fucking thing.
Well, that's the thing is, plus, isn't there still supposed to be characters like we haven't seen yet? I mean, I know like Captain Marvel's supposed to make her like appearance in here.
Yeah, which they also talked about that movie, which seems a little weird.
Set in the 90s. Isn't that what I read?
Yeah, it's going to take place in the 90s, which means Nick Fury will have both eyes, as they've been speculating.
Which I had never even crossed my mind before I read that, but I was like, man, we haven't seen him in a few movies at this point.
Yeah, he's been gone for a while.
So that's going to be interesting.
I'm wondering why they decided to put this in the 90s.
I mean, I'm assuming it's just... I'm sure there's some reason to be like, oh, well, she's about this old, you know what I mean? And I'm sure something will happen that make it.
Well, there'll probably be also like a reasoning like, hey, she hasn't aged because she has this Kree like DNA inside of her, so it like slows down the aging process.
Yeah.
The thing I'm wondering though is, you would think there would be mention of this, like people would remember, like if there was a Skrull invasion, but maybe there's going to be something by the end of this movie that kind of wipes that away.
Well, maybe that's the whole reason. Isn't that the whole thing with the Skrulls is like they hide and like they look like other people, so maybe people don't even know.
Like we're going to get a mild secret invasion style story.
That would actually be awesome. So,
I can see that working. Yeah, I don't think they showed any footage from Captain Marvel, but they did kind of talk about it more.
Yeah, I think they only showed, from what I understand, I think they just showed like kind of concept art of like what the suit would look like, etc.
Yeah, and they kind of showed off what the Skrulls will look like, that sort of thing.
So, I guess there was a Black Panther panel also, which showed some footage, which is, again, that's early days, I guess, right? Because that's still a ways off. But from the reports, it looked awesome, which, I mean, no real surprise.
Everything about it sounded great, too. I guess it got a standing ovation like the trailer did. But unlike the Avengers Infinity War stuff, we have not seen a potato quality trailer show up for it online.
Yeah, I'm interested to see, especially for the Infinity War, like when they're planning on actually putting that stuff out, or if it's maybe like such a ways off that they're just, they're just not gonna.
I feel like they're gonna show something soon. Maybe what's the next Marvel movie to come out this year? Thor.
Yeah, maybe you put it in there.
Maybe they put that trailer out in there or around that time, just so there's like one more thing to shove in that movie. Which, by the way,
new Thor trailer.
That Thor trailer looked amazing.
Definitely, like for me, I was in the minority, whereas I thought the first trailer was cool, but I wasn't super duper sold on it like a lot of people were. But this one has sold me. It looks awesome.
It's probably because it doesn't really look like any of the other Thor movies.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, there's all sorts of shit in there. Like, we saw Surtur, which was, like, the giant fiery, like, demon-looking dude.
With Hulk just bombing it into him, which was
like
rad.
Hulk like fire. Like, that was wild. We saw the Fenrir, like, the giant wolf, the Fenris. That was in there.
I guess there was a thing, too, and I must have missed it, but I saw it in, like, a picture or something later that I guess there was, like, a column with like faces etched in it or some shit, and it had like Beta Ray Bill and like Man Thing and stuff in there, like on it.
Yeah, it was. I saw that too. It was like Beta. I didn't see it. Notice it in the trailer. I was like, that looks kind of weird. And then I saw the still of it, and it's Beta Ray Bill, the Bi Beast, which is like the two-faced thing at the bottom. Ares is there, Man Thing is there, and Beta Ray Bill is there.
But wouldn't it be awesome if they put that hint in there, and then in Infinity War, Thor dies, and Beta Ray Bill comes in to take its place in the Marvel universe?
I don't think anyone can handle that. Like, casual audience would be like, "What the fuck is this horse face thing
ever?"
I mean, we would like that.
I'm
pretty sure the general public would be like, "What is this thing?"
I would instantly be on board for every future Thor movie
if it was just Beta Ray Bill.
Yeah. Just fucking shit up forever.
That the alien named Korg was shown in the trailer too, which is a guy from Planet Hulk.
Yeah, I saw it with like the kind of the big forehead, the weird.
Yeah, like the huge forehead and kind of like the tube-looking like laser gun.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it looks like it's gonna be. It looks like it's gonna be the best Thor movie. Yeah, which. As if you've listened to the show for a while, you know, in our opinion, not a hard thing to do. But it looks like it's going to be really good.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot going on there. Like, Valkyrie is in there. Hela is there. Scourge is there. Who knows? There's probably going to be even more people that we haven't seen yet that are going to show up in this.
Yeah. Well, plus, it's going to be interesting to me because I feel like, now, if I'm remembering this correct, Thor is the last movie before Infinity War, right? Or is there one in between?
No, Black Panther comes out February.
All right, I thought that was after. All right, so Thor and Black Panther, but I feel like Black Panther is going to be kind of doing its own thing. So I feel like Thor is the last movie before Infinity War where they have a shot to like have a little more setup for Thanos and stuff.
Yeah, I don't see there being any Infinity Stones in Black Panther.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there's one, like, it has been a power source in Wakanda forever. Who knows? You know what I mean? Like, but it just seems like Thor is the more logical fit, especially because Hela's going to be in there, and I think that they might sort of transition that in place of, like, Death with the whole relationship with Thanos there. I
kind of hope they don't do that, but if they do go that route, I guess I can see where it works because they kind of had Thor in that trailer say something like her being like a goddess of death.
Well, yeah, she's the goddess of death, which I feel like is like we were just talking about. General public couldn't handle Beta Ray Bill. I don't know that they could handle a female like skeleton walking around that he's like Thanos is in love with. It's a little bit weird.
Yeah, that could make a little more sense if they
if you just use like the goddess of death, that could work. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, Thor trailer looked cool. I don't know outside of that if there was more Marvel stuff. I think that was it, right?
They did some Ant-Man and Wasp stuff.
Oh, that's right.
There was no trailer, but they talked about it and they showed some like artwork and whatnot and announced the cast. But I think that was about it.
And then there was the Justice League trailer, which came out.
Still
a new one.
Not that excited about that one.
This trailer, for me, in my opinion, a lot better than the last trailer. It looked fun. Like it definitely got me more excited for the movie than I was before. If people were not aware, there's been some back and forth. Is Ben Affleck out as Batman? Does he want to leave? Does he not want to leave? I've seen articles written about both sides of it. Apparently, that he came out and said no, it's not true. So, at this point, we don't know. All I know is
I hope he sticks around.
I hope he sticks around so we can at least get at least one like solo Batman movie with him as Batman, and hopefully it's good.
Yeah, hopefully they don't fuck that up.
But the Justice League trailer, I mean, showed. I think it's weird, right? Because I think we know the main villain is supposed to be Steppenwolf, isn't it? Right?
Yeah, and they showed more of him.
And they showed more of him, but it seemed like there was a scene in the trailer where it looked like a bank robbery or something type thing, but they didn't show the people's face, like who the bad guys were.
Mm-hmm.
So part of me is kind of like, is that going to be like a secondary villain, or is that just happens to be like a random bank heist that like Batman or somebody breaks up, and they just put that in the trailer?
I don't know.
And then there's been some speculation. There's a scene in the trailer where it's Alfred talking to somebody off camera, and he mentions like I assume the implication I think is supposed to be that Batman said this, but he mentions like that. He said you'd show up. Hopefully, you're not too late. Some people speculate that that's not Superman he's talking to, and it's actually a different character we don't know about yet. I just think it's these DC movies. They haven't shown me any reason why I should get super far-fetched out there like I do with Marvel ones, so I'm assuming it's the obvious choice and it's just Superman he's talking to. But I've seen some people speculate it's like Green Lantern instead.
Yeah, because I've seen another thing where like a ship is taking off and there's like a green light underneath it, and like, could this be Green Lantern?
My brother, we were talking to my brother about it, and I missed this in the trailer because I only watched it the one time, when one of the bad guys, I can't remember, maybe it's Steppenwolf or somebody's talking, and they're talking about Earth, and that this planet has no lantern, no Kryptonian, except, you know what I mean? Like, it's fine, we can go attack it. And I guess that he says lantern. And we know that they're planning to make a Green Lantern Corps movie. But my thing was, what if it is a Green Lantern, wouldn't it be cool if it's not Hal Jordan or anybody? Like, wouldn't it be cool if it was, forgetting his name now, but the dude who ends up dying, crashing on Earth, and his ring goes to Hal? I can't remember his name now, but you know the guy I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think his name is literally like one word.
Yeah, but wouldn't it be cool if it was him, right? And like he fights with the Justice League in this movie, ends up dying, like, but his like in quotes sacrifice allows them to win. And then the end of the movie, like the post credit thing, is hit that ring flying off and finding like Hal or whichever guy they want to have as Green Lantern for these movies. Yeah, I thought that would be a cool thing. I mean, cause my brother was like, what if it's the Green Arrow he's talking to? And I was like, well, it'd be cool if they brought Green Arrow in, but I don't know that like the world's getting face fucked by like dark side levels of power, and the Green Arrow is going to be the thing that turns the tide. Do you know what I mean?
Oh man, the guy Hal Jordan got his ring from was Abin Sur.
I thought I had Sir in my brain, but I was like, his name's not Sir.
I for some reason thought it was just one word, but whatever. That would be cool if they did that. I mean, that'd be a pretty smart and like clever way to do it. But this is a DC movie, so I won't get my hopes up.
Yeah, who knows? But overall, like I said, I think the trailer was better than the last one in my opinion. It looks fun. There was a little bit of more humor in the trailer, but obviously we'll have to wait till the full movie because we've been duped by this in quotes humor before for the Batman vs Superman stuff. But like the bit with Commissioner Gordon when they're all on the roof and he's like talking to everybody, and he like turns back around,
bails,
and they're all gone except for the Flash, and he's like, "Oh," he's like, "Well, they really do just leave. That's pretty rude." And then he just takes off.
Yeah,
like that was pretty funny.
I don't know though. Like it's just one of those things that
the poster was fucking slick. That's a slick poster.
I could have done without all the superhero symbols.
Yes, that was my only drawback of the poster.
Did you see the alternate version?
No,
where it was just Batman and it says, "I can save the world alone."
That's, you know what? Put that poster out. It's even better. I was like, how could this poster be better? You just told me.
That poster did look almost like an Alex Ross drawing.
I got like major like Kingdom Come vibes from that poster.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so the Justice League trailer was cool. I'm trying to think. There was I don't think there was any other DC stuff because I think that's the only thing they got going right now, right?
That's all I could think of.
Outside of that, I mean, there was another Marvel thing. It was the trailer for the Defenders finally came out, which looked cool.
I didn't watch that.
I thought it looked cool. I mean, I have a lot of these trailers I only watched the one time, so I have to go back and look at it again. But like, it looks cool. There's a bunch of shots of them fighting together and sort of, you know, we're a team, not a team. Iron Fist doesn't seem as insufferable as he was in his own first season, so hopefully he's better there.
He got greenlit for a second season.
I know. Well, here's my thing is, which I saw that and I was like, well, not super surprising, honestly, because, yeah, it did not review super well, and, like, we personally, I think we both kind of agree, like, it was not the best thing. But they said it's a new showrunner, so who knows what that's going to fix.
Hopefully they listen to every bit of feedback about that first season.
Yeah, the reality of the matter is, a new showrunner could completely turn something around, because, as folks know with The Walking Dead, I was ready to drop that show, and then that Gimple dude took over, and it got good again, and now I'm kind of like whatever with it. But yeah, so the Defenders trailer looked cool. It shows them kind of fighting, a bunch of scenes of them all fighting together, which was cool. I'm still a little confused. Like, it shows Elektra in there, but I can't quite tell what her purpose is.
I think she's going to start off as bad guy, and then they're going to get her back.
I don't think, again, because I only watched the one time, I don't think there was anything for the Punisher in it. Which is another show we still haven't seen or heard much about, right? Like, and that's that also
I haven't said anything.
Is that also coming out this year?
I think next year.
So we're waiting on that. But yeah, Defender trailer looked cool. Justice League trailer. There's a lot of. I don't think there was a single like trailer that came out of Comic-Con that I was like, it wasn't that good. Like, even outside of comic movies, like they put out the trailer for Ready Player One, which if you haven't read the book, like I really enjoyed the book, but the trailer looked really cool, directed by Steven Spielberg, so it's gonna be interesting. Then there was a Stranger Things Season 2 trailer. I was all about that shit. We love that show, so I'm excited for more of that.
Yeah, I mean, so far it just seemed like more of the awesomeness from the first season, so
it seemed like
just a little bit weirder.
Yeah, it seemed like all the sketchy shit from the first season has just been like ratcheted up, and they're like, well, now it's way more.
Yeah, like, oh, you like this? Well, we're going to turn it up to 11 and go balls to the wall.
So, yeah, I mean, it all looks good, man. There's a lot of stuff. But outside of the Comic-Con stuff, there's a couple other things last week and leading into the weekend that we did. The first thing we'll talk about, Destiny 2 beta was out last week.
I only spent about 2 hours with it.
I played a decent chunk because, well, to preface, not a whole lot in the beta. Which I like. Some people did not like. I liked it.
There was enough for you to play 15 hours of it.
Well, the thing is, right, is the first game beta came out. And it was the entirety of Earth, the planet Earth, from the game. Like, that whole section. A strike or two. I don't remember if it was 2 or just 1. And then, like, 4 PvP maps. And then they put an Iron Banner, which was like a PvP event during the beta. And then when the full game came out, people were pissed because Earth, that whole in Earth that you could play in the beta, and they actually opened the moon a little bit for like one day, I think the last day of the beta. But essentially like a quarter to a third of the full game was out in the beta. And people were like, fuck. Like, it really cut into how much there was to discover and shit in the full game. So I was curious how the second game beta was going to be. And then when it came out, they're like, it's 2 PvP modes, 1 map apiece, 1 story mission, and 1 strike. I was like, that's perfect. Because you get to see the different activities. You can play it, get a feel for it, and then dip out. And be like, all right, I'll see you in... Because the game's out in like a month and a half.
Yeah, plus, I mean, I don't know why you would need to give that much in a demo.
Well, that's the thing is, I think for the first game, I think it was because no one really knew what it was. So they had felt like they had to show more. But now, like, people know what Destiny is. Like, it's... So it's just like, here's how... I think it was just accentuating, like, what has been tweaked and what's different. Enough, because people know what the main, like, loop is.
Well, for me, it didn't even seem like there was... I didn't notice that much different stuff as far as, like, the story mode goes. I mean, I noticed the fact that you can carry... Your weapon layout is a little bit different. Like, you could have 2 pistols, essentially.
Yeah, the weapon system is different. I thought the visuals seemed a lot better than the first one.
Definitely smoother since they're not compensating for a lesser console.
Well, especially even just in, like... in that story mission, especially, like, all the fire effects and the rain and the different particle effects, like, you were never getting that shit in the first game.
No, and then in this too, I noticed, like, with the beta part, the story mission that you get to do, like, you could tell that there's bits cut out of that.
At least that's the feeling I got. Like,
it seems very short and, like,
if there's
you don't get
not
to see every cinematic bit.
Yeah, if there's not, like, something cut out, it seems a little disjointed to me. Like, but not in a bad way because for a beta, but I'm hoping that there's more, obviously, to elaborate on things for the full game.
It was nice to see, like, an actual kind of, like, story, like, plotted out scene and, like, things happening instead of just, like, hey, go read these Grimoire cards.
Yeah, like, the first mission you got to play in the beta already, I was like, all right, if they can keep up sort of this level for the campaign of the second one, this is going to be better than the first one. Like, easily. So... yeah, I don't know. I mean, not a whole lot there, but I played a decent shot. I really wanted to play a lot of the PvP to get a feel for it and see if I was going to really like it and see if I was going to be able to get back into it after kind of putting it off in the first one for a while at this point.
The only thing that felt super weird about this when you were playing it was, you know, like, not getting drops or, like, finding Ingrams after you kill certain things.
Yeah, which I mean that'll be in the
not putting
full
that
game,
in there, but it was just, like, super weird. Like, hey, where's the... oh, okay.
Yeah.
What class did you play through as?
I played as a hunter.
That's what I did too. And did you try both of the classes for it, the subclass?
I tried the arc, like, bow staff one very briefly, not a lot.
The bow staff was cool, but it didn't feel... it felt way different than the blade dancer.
Yes.
Which I get is the point, but, like, the staff, like, you don't really, like, dash at anybody like you did with the blade dancer.
Yeah, well, the thing that I found was with the staff, it's how you have, like, the super underwhelming fucking dodge class ability as a hunter, where you double tap B. Apparently when you're in your super with the staff, that, like, it's always charged, so you can just keep hitting it. So I guess that's kind of, like, how you're supposed to use the movement, like, just keep spamming dash to close the distance on people and then hit them. But, like I said, I didn't try it that much. I pretty much just stuck with Gunslinger the whole time.
I switched to that afterwards, and I liked the fact that when you did that, you had 6 shots right out the gate instead of just 1.
Well, in the first game, you had 1 if you had the certain exotic on, but it did way more damage. Typically, you had 3, and then there was another exotic that would give you 4. This one, there's 1 talent tree you can use, which is the one that was unlocked in the beta, that gives you 6 shots. But I think they need to up the timer a little bit, because it's 6 shots, but the timer is, like, 3 seconds. Like, it's not long.
I think they just expect you to just unload it, like,
well, this thing is that's
hammer.
That's good for, like, a PvE, but it also does slightly less damage per shot, and I'm like, well, what the fuck, man? So, but for PvP, that's terrible. Like, I had so many times where I would pop it, shoot one guy, and then it'd be gone by the time, like, anyone else showed up. The other one that's not unlocked in the beta, I guess, is the standard like 3 shots, but each one does a little bit more damage than the single shots from the 6-shooter. But I don't know. I mean, there was a couple things like I would tweak or I think should be changed, but looking at it as a whole compared to the first game, like this got me very excited for the second one to be out and like for me to get in there and play it.
Yeah, it made me want more Destiny. That was for sure. But
so outside
no
of
vehicles.
the Destiny beta, no vehicles in the beta.
There was no
we had
sparrows.
ships, but that's just like a loading screen essentially, just like they were in the first game.
Yeah.
No sparrows.
I did like the fact that they just called the Cabal like giant space rhinos.
Pretty much. Which is funny because I think most people equated them to like turtles in the first game, which I always thought was a little bit weird. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's strange for sure. It just felt smoother.
Yeah,
from a control standpoint.
Those war beast things seem pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I like the little dog. I like the new enemy. I don't remember what they were called, but like the melee ones that had like the giant like cleavers.
Those were pretty cool. The war dogs were cool. I like the fact that they actually like kind of visually changed the Cabal to where it looked like these guys were more like badass, like serious than the ones from the first game.
Yeah.
The Vex looked exactly the same, which is fine.
Yeah, they're just autonomous robots.
And then that thing you fight at the end, the Proteus, is that what it was?
Protheon, I think.
Protheon. That fight took so long and so many tries for me because it felt like you didn't do any damage to that thing.
It's
and
tough because
you just die.
Well, I guess so. They changed the weapon systems we talked about. So your like heavy weapons, which generally you'd use for bosses and stuff, that's all. And like you don't have sniper. Like snipers are now included in that, whereas in the first game they were just your secondary, and then like rockets and stuff would be your third one. So people were concerned. They're like, yeah, but how do you fight bosses and shit? Like, if all you have is like a primary weapon and then all this other stuff clumped in one category. And the issue I found was the power weapon and the weapon loader was fine, but you never really got power ammo to drop for you. Like, run through that whole strike and I'd get to the boss having not used any power ammo so far, and I'd have like 10 grenade launcher shots.
And the grenade launcher was pretty sweet.
Oh, it was cool for sure. It was terrible in PvP though. Like, it was so hard to hit people. But in the strike, that's what I used. It was really cool. But I guess they've already come out and said, like, the beta build that people played is a couple months old at this point, and, like, they've already tweaked, like, the power ammo drops that we saw people were complaining about. I don't want to say complaining because it makes it sound like it's not justified. Like, people brought to attention the issue with the drops. They've already addressed that, I guess, and I guess they're going through and tweaking sort of, like, enemy health pools to kind of, like, balance a little bit more because it did seem a little high, I guess they were saying, like, especially for that boss.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good that like those sort of big issues some of the big issues people had like have already been addressed or are gonna be addressed, etc.
That's good.
But yeah, I mean, outside of some ability tweaks, I think per classes, and I think just the hunter ability being trash compared to the other ones, I think the game feels pretty good, and I'm excited to get in there and play it.
Yeah, I'm ready for that final version just because, same thing with that. Like you just said, like the damage in there just seems so terrible fighting that boss.
Yeah, it took a while. I think
plus playing with some randos is not exciting at all.
Not ideal. Yeah, like I ran through a little bit of it with Chris one night, which was cool. Like, it would have obviously been better if we had a third person, because we would have had the whole team, but it was just me and him, and then a guy joined us late. Like, so we did that whole strike pretty much just me and him, and a third guy showed up, like, for the boss.
I feel like I could make it through that whole strike until the boss by yourself.
Yeah. But it's funny because generally, like, in Destiny 1, after playing a lot, you'd get to the point where you could run through a strike in, like, 7 minutes. Like, if you had it down pat, you knew, like, this enemy's going to be over here, we got to go up here, we got to do this, that, and the other. This strike, I ran through it probably a handful of times, like, before I just kind of figured I was done with the beta, and net time never really changed. It always took me, like, just right around 20 minutes. So, it's going to be interesting how that goes. But again, it's so tough to judge, right? Because we're looking at these ability cooldowns and like the weapon ammo capacities and all this other things, but we have no idea like what level of gear this was. Like, is this low level gear that was in the beta? Like, we don't have any gear perks. We don't have any of these other. So it's hard to make a full assessment on that type of minutia in terms of like character development and like leveling and stuff, because we don't know that stuff. Which is why every time a person I've talked to and they have like these issues, they're like, well, I think this, and this. And I was like, yeah, but the way I looked at this beta was it wasn't even about that stuff. This beta was to see, in terms of gameplay feel, how does it feel to jump and shoot and, run through this level. Because that's the stuff you can actually test, because that's not really going to change. Like, the way you move around and stuff like that, that's going to be how it is no matter what gear you're wearing, right? But in terms of like, oh, my grenade cooldown is 15 seconds. Well, maybe you'll get some gear that'll make it 12 seconds. Like, you don't know. Who knows? But outside of the Destiny beta, there was another game that came out.
The real hero of the weekend.
That I have just completely fallen into and have become addicted to, which I never would have seen happening, and that is Splatoon 2 on the Nintendo Switch.
It's pretty good.
Not
I passed
without
it up on the
its
Wii
issues. Not without its issues.
There's some annoying bits.
Main issues being Nintendo fucking up online play. Like, I never understood why things need to be so hard to play with your friends. And especially in this game. And the thing is, I get it. Like, if it was a certain way in Splatoon 1, whatever. But it makes no sense to me. And all the arguments for it I've seen on... So essentially, for those who don't know, if you want to get in just the equivalent of... I'm going to equate this to Overwatch, right? Because this is the only, like, recent shooter I feel like that I have comparison with. In Overwatch, you have arcade mode, quick play, and competitive mode, right? In Splatoon, you have turf war, which I equate to like quick play mode in Overwatch. Then you have ranked battles or whatever, which is like competitive, but to my understanding is solo queue. And then you have league battles, which, again, haven't played it, but if my understanding is correct, is like a competitive, but you can play with a group. And the thing is, if you want to be able to match with a group, everyone has to be from what I understand, a B- rank, which I guess you start as like a C rank or C-. Then it goes all the way through like C, C+, B-, B, B+, through the A's, and then I guess like S+ is like the top one.
Okay.
So my thing is, but the thing is, since there's different modes included in that, you don't just have one rank. So the modes and maps reset every 2 hours. So say if the mode is, I don't know what the modes are. I'm just going to call it like deathmatch, which I don't even think is in there, but I'm just going to use this as like a example.
I don't think there's anything like deathmatch in this at all.
But you know what I'm saying? But this is the example, right? So say if you're playing for 2 hours in just deathmatch, and you start out at C-, and you get yourself up to B. Then the 2 hour mark hits, it changes map and mode. You're back down to a C- for that mode. So essentially you need to rank up in every different mode to be a B- so you can group with people that are also a B- that you want to play with.
I also don't really like the fact that certain things only run at certain times of day.
Well, the thing is, I don't really mind that because I know a lot of people were upset about the salmon run because you can't do it all the time, which salmon run's super fun. When we actually finally got the group of us in there, that was awesome.
Yeah, I get maybe you're trying to, since your online user base isn't very good, that maybe you're trying to corral all these people into playing these certain modes. But, essentially you're forcing them, since it's like, well, if I want to play online with other people, I got to play this, because this is what's going on right now.
Well, this is my thing, is, because you can play with people that you're friends with in Turf War, which is like quick play, like we did. But you get fucked, like, because you can all go in. So what you have to do is one person joins matchmaking. Then everyone else picks, like, join friends. They select that one friend, and they'll join the game instantly if there's a spot open, and if not, you have to wait. It puts you on, like, a timer or whatever until somebody leaves after the game's over, etc. And it'll just fill you in as spaces come in. However, there's, as we found out, no guarantee that you'll actually be on the same team as your friends that are in this lobby, because as someone like me who got fucked, where we had a maximum of me plus you, Chris, and my other buddy, Jason, all within this lobby. So that's 4 people total. That's a team. And I think I was on any combination of you guys on my team, like, twice in, like, 6 games.
Yeah, and when you're not on the team with your friends, you're getting rolled.
And it's not even that you're getting rolled, it's just not fun. Like, because this was the argument people made online. They're like, well, Turf War is supposed to be, like, hanging out like quick play, so they don't want you to go in with, like, a full team, because then you'll just stomp everybody. One, disagree. Not the case. Because other games have fucking quick play all the time. And just because you're in a group with someone doesn't mean you're going to stomp them.
Exactly. You could be a bad team.
You could be a bad team. The other team could be really good. Or, check this shit out. You have hidden fucking shit in your matchmaking that's like, oh, these guys are in a 4 stack. Let's try and match them against another 4. If we don't have a 4, it'll be a 3, etc. There's ways to work this out in the back end. Like, other games have figured this out for the last 15 years.
But you got to remember, this is Nintendo. They don't want to put that legwork in there.
And this goes back to my point, is I love the Switch. I love playing games on it. This game, despite all these issues we have and not being able to play with each other reliably, etc., I love this game. I see myself putting a ton of time into it. Like, I'm going to play it more today when we're done here. Like, I'm going to play the shit out of it. But it would be so much better if I could just simply, on the system, say, oh, Corey's online. Shoot an invite. Hey, now we're in a lobby. Hey, now we're going to go into Turf War and play some games.
Even if it was as easy as just forming, even if I had to just form a group in that stupid app. Yeah. In order to, ensure that we're going to stay on the same team, I would do it. But they don't.
I don't even know because you can group in the app, which one, haven't figured out. I've received invitations via the app, but I have no idea how to actually invite people with the app.
I feel like the only thing I'm going to keep that app around for is the gear that you can buy exclusively in the app.
Exactly. That's all I've used it for. And the thing is, like, if we had enough people, we could just say fuck it and do a private game, right? Which is fine. But I don't always have 7 other motherfuckers ready to play some
I don't think
Splatoon.
I know 7 other people with a Switch.
Like, oh my god, dude, it's just such a nightmare. Like, I don't understand.
The game is great, though. Like, even the story mode thing is fun.
Oh, the game is fantastic. Like, playing it is awesome.
I'm glad that the little bit of the Miiverse has come back into this game.
Oh my, there are some absolute gems. Like, every time I launch the game, I have to run around the plaza and just seeing, like, if there's ones I haven't seen yet. The level of memes is very high.
I saw one the other day that it was a squid, but it had Soldier 76's visor on, and it just said, we're all squids now.
Oh my god. I haven't seen that one yet. Thing is, I haven't made any because I can't draw with my finger. It's impossible.
Yeah, if you could use a stylus, that would be cool.
Well, apparently you can, but only certain stylists work on that type of screen.
Oh, you could get a little sausage like some of those people were doing.
All I know is one of my buddies was like, hey, this is the stylus I used to use on a very old iPad I had. Tried it on the Switch. It works. And he did a drawing that was not bad. So, I might have to check out what that stylus is. Get your boy
I've got a bunch of styluses lying around that work on the iPad.
I don't think I have any stylus. Like, I have a bunch of styluses and, like, pens that go with, like, my drawing tablet monitor and stuff, but they don't work on that.
Get yourself a little hot dog.
Wouldn't it be fantastic if the Apple Pencil just worked on it? Done. Easy.
Yeah, but you can't expect an Apple product to work on something that's not Apple.
I know. In a perfect world, I'd be fine. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know, man. I really.
You gonna buy that? You gonna buy that headset?
The fucking Splatoon one? No. What are you, fucking high? First off, let's just take a second here and figure out how struggling we were the other night. Everyone agreed we were gonna just use voice chat through Discord. And then the time comes to actually play the game, and I'm left here pissing in the wind with the mic hooked up, no sweat, just like we do when we record this, no one else ready to go. And our whole plan went down the fucking drain so fast. So fast because motherfuckers couldn't figure this out.
I didn't have any headphones on my phone.
You literally are using a microphone and headphones right now.
I didn't want to drag my laptop out.
What do you mean? It's a laptop. That's what it's made for you to move it around.
I figured I would just use Discord on my phone.
Oh my god, dude.
But I left my headphone piece in my car.
This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about.
We'll try it again another time.
So
headphones are in the house.
Oh my god. So I like it a lot. I really like the salmon run mode. Me and Chris, like,
yeah, it's pretty fun.
Like before we played, all of us, me and Chris were fucking jamming that for a while. One day, me and him and just randos cycling in.
I do like the fact too that when you're playing online, like even in the quick play sort of thing, that every round the color of the ink changes.
Yeah, well, for the longest time, I saw, and because I never played the first one because I hate the Wii U, as most people know. But I saw a bunch of people walking around, and I was like, man, this guy's got cool blue hair, this guy's got cool pink hair, and I'm sitting here like a fucking schmuck with some gross yellow hair or whatever right after I made my character. And I'm like, how do I change my hair color? And I'm trying to find out, and I'm like, I can't find it. And then I started playing different games, and like I would be, oh, now I'm on the pink team, or now I'm on the green team, etc. And then I'd go back to the lobby, and my hair would now be the color of whatever the last ink color I was in a game.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, that's it. And it doesn't just stop at hair. It changes your accessories also. Like, the current gear that I have on, I have like a winter like beanie hat with a little pom-pom on top. And the hat color changes depending on what my hair color would be.
I've got like the long droopy tentacles for hair.
Well, then you made a girl.
I made a girl one, yeah.
Naturally.
I always do that.
Corey always makes girl characters.
As soon as I was high enough level to buy some gear, the first thing I bought was that little like fucking cold mask that you put over your face.
I never saw that. I saw people walking around with it and never saw it.
It looks like a surgeon mask, but it's pretty sweet.
I rock the right now for the first gear set I bought. I had sunglasses, striped T-shirt, and some cool like slip-on sneaks. And then I started learning about the gear perks and shit. I still don't know what perks are good and which ones like stack. I don't know how any of that stuff works. Like if someone could point me into like a comprehensive Splatoon 2 guide of like how ability stacking and shit works, that'd be handy.
There's probably a Reddit thread out there somewhere.
Word. But I don't know any of that. But that was my first outfit. Now I'm rocking the beanie. These like super massive like pump up red looking like Jordan high tops or something, right? And then what's the shirt I have right now? I think I'm wearing like some weird jacket,
ass blue shirt.
So yeah, I don't know, man. I like all the different stuff.
You should definitely check it out if you got a Switch.
Yeah, 100%. It's like, what else? The fuck else are you playing on Switch right now?
Yeah, well, it's something that's gonna hold you over until Mario comes out.
Like, and I really like ARMS, but like even this, I was like, all right, ARMS backseat because it's fucking Splatoon time. But yeah. So we'll get in there. I want to get together like a night, because we had a guy, when we were trying to do Salmon Run the other night, somebody tried to just join us and play with us randomly, and I was like, well, we're trying to get everybody in right now, so, we're not playing right now, but I'd like to set up a thing where we can kind of cycle people in who want to play.
Sorry to the guy named Nathan that I
covered
up
in the squad pick. That shit was hilarious. But
maybe next year.
Ghost play Splatoon. I give it 14 out of 7.
I give it 5 squid arms.
Out of
5 squid arms.
Oh shit!
Even though they got more.
Do they?
Sure.
It's not like octopus though, who have 8.
Yeah, I think squid have 8 too.
Really?
I don't know. I'm not up on my marine biology.
Yeah.
I'll give it a 5 out of 5.
Not under the sea enough. So yeah, all right. That's it for the show.
We're out of here.
We'll see you later.
See ya.